there's so much we're going to be talking about this hour.
Yeah,
MC Sharon amekuwa hapa hivi with us. She just checked in, ametulia. Sharon, I think this is the time, this is the perfect time sasa kuintroduce MC Sharon in the building.
Yeah, manze.
Yo, Sharon. Good stuff, manze. First time yako hapa hivi Vibes Radio, si ndio?
Sijakuja hapa mjaniita.
Tusirudi hapo.
Kuna response. Good things take time.
Yeah.
But unajua Sharon, every time my guys ukujanga hapa hivi, whoever is the guest, the first thing wanasemanga is, oh my god, hii studio inaka deadly, but you're not saying that. Very
una swallow. Na manze wale wasiojui MC Sharon. Manze get ready, manze itakuwa ni show deadly sana, because at least unajua wale wengi tunamezea tukisoma tu vitu twake, unajua, so tuna get mind yake inachezea wapi, but leo tunamtoanisha. Leo watu wanamsikia manze, you know, MC Sharon ni activist. Una get?
Oh yeah, talk about her profile.
Manze ni activist. Ni activist. Ni pan-Africanism, and I believe in pan-Africanism. Ni an artist, a songwriter,
poet,
an author of many storybooks.
Jesus.
And nadhani sasa ako na novel.
And I love books.
Roshika, if I'm not wrong, anatuambia manze anatukolo mtu wake pia wanaandika anarusha kwa tu magazeti hadi tu majuu.
Oh really?
Sasa nilishika tunongejua nani bro? Alafu ni a recording artist.
A rapper.
Ni a performing artist. Unajua kuna artist wa kurecord lakini si performer. Na kuna artist wanga kwa studio aliyoandikiwa lakini performer. So huyu ni a recording artist and a performing artist at the same time manze, and she's a mother.
Oh, good stuff. And she likes politics. Unasikizanga unafuatanga mambo ya politics?
Ni mbaya pia sana.
Of course, politics affects us in every aspect of our life.
Yo, so ladies and gents, give me a musical ear. We introduce to you the girl, MC Sharon.
She's so talented, the flow.
Umesikia mazia? Kumbe ni kisapere. Hapo kile wananyata.
Inaitwa kijapere.
Kijapere.
What's kijapere?
Kijapere unachukua kijaka, unachanganya na kisapere, unakuja na kitu inaitwa kijapere.
Kijapere.
Yeah. Like that's something we coined. Okay, I live in Wangige.
Yeah.
I've lived around that area for around 8 years.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
So basically we live in a country where because of politics and stuff like that, normally people have assumed that Kikuyus and Luos can't live together. So and me living there already is a testament that that's not accurate in itself.
Wait, let me ask you, Shar, are you a Kikuyu?
No, I'm Luo.
What?
I'm Luo, but people tell me that I look like
no offense. You got the eyes especially
complexion, all that.
You're a pure Luo.
Yeah, I'm a pure Luo.
What?
From Moroni.
Yes.
Hey, so by virtue of my living around there, I have managed to pick up a few aspects of the language. And I also saw, because instead of like maybe being shy about my Luo side, I decided to fuse it together with the Kikuyu, and then inaitwa kijapere. And it's something that me and a few of my friends actively pursue, and also with another underlying agenda, which is ethnic cohesion. If we can do kijapere, if anytime you listen to a song, if you don't know Luo, you can pick up a few Luo words. If you don't know Kikuyu, you can pick up a few Kikuyu words. And music is universal, so when you put all this together, you find people turning up and enjoying themselves. And for that moment in time, people are not worried about who comes from where. It's just good music, and it's African music.
How did you come up with the idea of that song, Happy? Kwa sababu umefuse my languages up. I heard clearly Luo and Kikuyu,
and English flow, and Swahili.
And then it has like this Afro vibes, fusion. It's very modern. It's unique.
But at the same time, watu wengi wanaendea vijana wase wanapiga ma hip hop direct deep tu manze, aina ama ni reggae tu, unajua hii yako imechanganishwa na tu African beat ndani. What's the idea? What's the motivation behind it?
What happens, because I'm a singer, I'm a rapper, and I'm also a producer, so what happens, there's an aspect of me which is really deep with the rap. Like it was either some people would tell me, don't sing, rap, don't rap, sing. So I was like, you know what, I will do both. At my own discretion. So a song like Happy, it's part of this project called Jambe Trengolo. Jambe Trengolo is Luo for musical ambassador.
Oh, nice.
And all the 10 tracks in that album are actually surrounded they actually rotate around that topic about being a musical ambassador. So when I did Happy, I was actually just thinking of just chilling with my friends, in the compound, having a barbecue, having a chilled time. And it's because also my album prior to this, The Last Will and Testament, was quite hip-hop-ish, very deep and all that. So this is one album I wanted to do like a crossover sound. A crossover sound that is actually more commercial and more Afro, more Africa. I wanted to open up my horizons and my niche market to include like a more African sound, because I also realized that we lag behind when we don't use our languages. Look at the South Africans and their Amapiano. Look at the Nigerians and what they do. It's almost as if we were left behind because people were shy about doing urban music in their own languages.
So we'll get into languages in a bit. Lakini nataka kujua reception ya hii album, especially now a song like Happy. Wase wana receive aje yani? What's the feedback?
Actually, I think it's enjoying like moderate success. Okay, the main reason is because I released it, and then after that, now I had to take a back seat from the marketing because I had to go for surgery, but I'm okay now. So it means the more I push it and the more it's out there, the more people will enjoy it. This is music like people can actually listen to and vibe to on a daily basis. So far, even on Spotify, on Audiomack, I have 15,000 plays, which is actually good. Yeah. For Spotify, I moved from 12 followers to around 1,000 and something just within the month. This album is about a month old. Yeah.
What good stuff.
So now with me coming onto mainstream media, I believe now it will get the recognition.
Absolutely. Yeah.
MC Sharon, as we know you manzi, wale tumekuwa tukikufollow, we know uko na links mingi sana na wasanii wengi sana uko vimaju. Na so far hii ngoma juu najua pia umerushia mafans wako wale wako based diaspora, wanaitektek aje, imepata hiyo airwave ulikuwa na feeling za taka. Now what exactly likupush juu iko so African, New African? Are you a support of that Pan-African dream?
Most definitely. And also by doing this project, there's also another project called Ugwe Romo Giyimbo, which means East meets West. And then there's also another project I'm doing, an Amapiano project, which I'm involving South African producers, and I'm also fusing Zulu and Nini vibes. So this project, actually, all the beats except for one are made by my friends who are Nigerians. All the beats are made by Nigerian producers, very young guys actually, people who just love my music and people who love what I do, and people who we decide let's come together and try and see if we can make a fusive sound. My idea is to basically be a global African citizen through the music. Even if I can't reach that country physically just yet for now, the music will open those horizons.
All right.
And so far they are pleasantly surprised with what I did with
I'm sure they are, because you're dope, you're very different, very authentic. #Morning Vibes. Buddha, we're hanging out with MC Sharon.
The one and only, man.
MC Sharon is here with us. She's an amazing creative. Umesikia vile hata Keva alimpatia intro. She does everything. Poetry. She's an author. She's a rapper.
A songwriter,
a great thinker, Pan-African, kila kitu. And
I paint as well.
I paint, those pictures.
Sharon, what don't you do?
Let's just say I'm an interdisciplinary musical artist. I do a lot of journalism and mass communication.
You are a what?
Interdisciplinary artist.
Interdisciplinary musical artist. Or a multidisciplinary artist. Like, I'm art. Alternative righteous talent.
Yeah, I like that. Alternative righteous cheese. You have to write that down.
Bro, nanikio tu nisema hiyo nini yake poster. Isendiko vitu mingi.
You know what I mean?
Unasheka?
Yego una get.
Yego unasema nilitokea hiyo story.
Entrepreneur, artist. No, bro, just write
andika tu creative.
So let me ask you something, Sharon, let's take it back to day one. Ulizaliwa wapi? Ulienda shule wapi? You know, what did you like doing when you were growing up? Alafu uli decide at what point to be a rapper?
Wachani wapeleke na ring. I was born in Kericho. I'm from Muhoroni. Kericho is, I think, about 30 minutes from Muhoroni. Kwa Miwa. Like in the sugarcane plantation. I was raised in the tea plantation for my first 10 years of my life. I went to Kericho Primary. My dad was a managerial staff in
to speak Swahili,
African Highlands. Tunazongea Kiswahili pia.
Mix them gather them.
Right. Okay, so I grew up Kericho for the first 10 years of my life. Then we were in Moroni. After that, we went to Moroni briefly. I studied in Moroni for about a year, but not just some Moroni ni shags. Then for class 7 and 8, I was in Mukumu. Then I was called to Alliance Girls straight. Then by around Form 3 I was deported from Alliance.
Ulifanya nini Alliance?
I was a bit notorious. Nilifanya ile kitu.
Ulikuwa rebel.
Fanya character development. Wajaini sahau. But it happens, you know, people who are very bright, sometimes they have other things that disturb them. They can't be contained into one container, one box. So anyway, while I was in Alliance Girls, I was doing music, classical music to be precise.
Damn.
I also come from an Adventist family, so meaning I have the whole melodic aspect. Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah, that's where I came from. So when I was expelled from Alliance, I went to Tala Academy.
Yeah.
And in Tala Academy, sa unajua kuna music club. There's no all these things.
Yeah.
So when I was in Tala Academy, before that I took a detour through CUNA, but I was in CUNA Academy for just 1 month. Kabla nikatimuliwa tena. So yes,
you're a rebel at heart.
Guy, nakwambia. Sikuzi na nimetulia.
Relax.
The misfit of society.
So
the misfits.
now when I went to Tala, now that's when I started getting in touch with my hip hop side, because hizo ndo siku tungeenda jam session. Nikikuwa huko ndo nilimit Waters of Nanoma, a few other people, Steve Sijenyi, watu wenye walifungwa hiyo studio ilikuwanga inaitwa nini?
These are mostly independent artists.
Yeah, independent artists.
Asi was a mainstream vile.
Hapana. So Waters was in Nanoma. If you remember that group.
Yeah.
So basically what happened in school, that's when now I had to figure out how I'm going to operate my sound, because sasa hakuna piano, hakuna classical music, hakuna all that. So imebaki tu ni duf cheng, unachapa desk ukitafuta mistari. Alafu end of term unaenda jam session. So hapo ndo nikaingianga ma jam session, hivyo kidogo nikamit Bruce Odhiambo, nika produce ngoma yangu ya kwanza Word on the Street soon after school. So that's how now my hip hop side came together with my classical and melodic side.
Good stuff.
So basically by that time I felt like I could sing and I could rap, but first of all I did not have anyone who could give me the proper direction on what I was supposed to do.
All right.
After I did that song with Bruce, actually Bruce Odhiambo, the late Bruce Odhiambo, he believed in me. He did my first single Word on the Street. It did really well. Then now after that, now it's up to me now to figure out my sound. You know, I'm really young, trying to do this, trying to do that. So I went to Soundscribes after that. If you know Soundscribes, uko mali tulikuwa na kina Kaz, Michelle, kina Musioka, all these people. Now Soundscribes was the place. So in Soundscribes, again, I tried to involve my singing, but it wasn't working at the time, because I was being told like you need to find a way to fuse this sound for it to be able to work. So now eventually I found myself in EWD. In EWD I had more room, creative control and stuff like that. I would even produce for other people, Kina Kantai and many other people. And in the process now I was able to start connecting the dots and amalgamating my sound, and I realized I could actually potentially be like the Kenyan Lauryn Hill, because I can sing a bit, I can rap a bit, I can produce a bit.
Speaking of which, I think Lauryn Hill is amazing soul artist, isn't it?
Very.
Your style is very distinct, especially at a time when Wakenya wengi maze, especially artists, to me the word I'm observing is bado watu hawajijui, so people copying each other's styles nini. Have you ever experienced some sort of rejection? Watu wakisema nah, your style yako we feel it doesn't have any room in the country, you're probably not gonna pop, waso wata ku receive fiti. How did you handle rejection?
I've been told that since way back. The only difference between me and many artists is just I started very early. I started very early, my career very early, because now I'm in my 30s and I already have like 20 years in the game. So it means I started really early. I've been rejected a lot. People telling you can't sing. If you are going to sing, you need to sound like this.
Yeah,
if you're going to rap, don't rap like this. You need to sound like this. You are too hard. You should sing soft things. You know, sing about, booty popping, popping bottles, popping your booty, popping everything. And then when you're singing, you're told, yo sauti yako pia. It's taken actually very many years for voices like mine, husky voices, to get different voices to get a space.
I actually like your voice. I like the husky. To me, it just sounds strong and independent. I don't know. I get a vibe.
Ni fiti sana manzi Sharon. At the same time manzi ukiangalia sofa mali tuko we ni artist ume in fact umejigroisha unaona na at the same time unasema umeanzia kwa chuo. Do you think the government of the day inafanya whatever it can manzi talent ka hizo ziache kugo juu watu wengi wanaimba lakini wakitoka tu chuo mambo yao ina lose. Una think aje as an artist ndio hii game iweze kwa game na ndio vijana wengi waweze kupata a platform manzi waweze kujulikana na sauti zao vile ziko. Una feel gava inafaiduaje?
I feel like we live in a country where people have yet to pay proper attention to the arts and what the arts can bring to the table, even in terms of being a multi-billion-dollar industry where even we can pay taxes and stuff like that. We live in a country where we all brought up, have a main job, then do this music or art or whatever you want to pursue on the side
as hobbies.
And even as of right now, I doubt if we even have music and art the way we used to have it during our times. So you see, already that sends a direct message to people who want to pursue the arts that they are on their own. Yet at the same time, we are the same people who most people want to pedestalize foreign music at the expense of their own music, and it's a whole generation of people who don't even know their own artists. You find like people only know like 10 artists. 10 artists against a background of almost 15,000 artists. You understand? And I feel like not just the government, but also the people need to have more goodwill towards the art and towards the artists. Because if you follow a lot of conversations, even online, most of them just lean towards the negative when it comes to Kenyan music. It's almost like as if we have this self-hate, a Willie Lynch type of syndrome. Like it's also the same thing that slavery made some of us black people have. You find yourself hating yourself and having Stockholm syndrome and starting to pedestalize the people who oppressed you and erased your
self-hate
your roots.
When was the beginning of this self-hate? We hate ourselves, we hate our art, we hate everything Kenyan, everything
African.
Originally who we are. It's like it's like you said, it's African.
Very regime based.
When did we start this?
It's very regime based because if you look at the first and second regimes, especially the second one, there's only a certain type of music you could do. You could sing about trees and you could sing about plants, and if you became really heavy on certain messages, you would be shut down. And also I can see there's a very big pattern, because even that's how foreign acts were allowed to infiltrate our radio stations and our TV stations. Even right now, if a Nigerian artist who's trying to break through wants to make it, the first place they'll come to test their sound is Nairobi.
On our radios.
You think of yourself, me as a Kenyan artist, do you think I can go to Lagos and just decide that I'm going to test my sound there? Okay. So you see, there's a big problem, and some of it is also very capitalist, because there are people who feel like if they can play foreign music for cheap, why would they follow the laws and bills that focus on local music and play, let's say 100% or 70% local music, which is more expensive than playing foreign music for cheap? Because even though we pay them royalties, those royalties are collected collectively. So you'll find maybe a station paying like $1 million bob generally, just a collective license to play all types of foreign music, as opposed to paying good money to play local music. So you find there's systemic oppression of the arts in this country, and it comes from independence. And then there's also issues like ethnicity, negative ethnicity, in that you find like you do some music. It's either if you do music in your language, it has to be traditional. It's just recently urban artists are starting to revert to their vernacular languages, and even that was still faced with a lot of oppression, because it's taken almost 10 years for us now to be able to do, like, let's say Kijapere, let's fuse this music, or for you to go to an Afrofusion concert which is based on local acts and local languages. So there's a capitalistic aspect to it, and there's also the fact that the masses are not adequately informed about the type of music we have here. And I still feel that's another job that the media needs to do. It's for the media to pedestalize the proper artists so that the people can know. Because if, let's say, you play just 10 artists,
local artists,
the people who follow the media and don't have time to go and research on social media or on Spotify to look for other artists, they'll just know that these are the artists who are there.
All right, Kevo?
Manzena shanga Sharon, napendelea idea unaenda na ile we unaenda, but according to you, now there's a big cry out there for a borderless Africa. Unage as an pan African. Unajua mimi nataka kutoka music pia tubonge the bigger picture ambayo umekujaribu kufightia for a long time. A borderless Africa. On your way manze, music yako, novels zako, poems zako, tukolo mtulo unaandika, ukiongezea voice yako kwa mambo ya borderless Africa, unathink ni we gani? Is it the government inafaa ku take away ama ni sisi kama the citizen of these countries manze wa Africa ndio tunafaa ku pop up tuanze kuongeza voice yetu kwa mambo ndisikike? What do you think? Take your take kwa hiyo.
It is both, but also we need to be pragmatic and very realistic, even as we try to pursue a borderless Africa. Because if you look at Africa the way it is, there are countries which are a bit volatile, even at the moment. There are countries which don't have stable governments at the moment. So what happens when immediately it's something which needs to be integrated step by step. It cannot just happen overnight. You know, you get me? Like assuming your neighboring country has a volatile government and they are rebels and they are fighting, and then you've just opened your borders for anyone to just walk into your country and walk out anytime. I think already we are making good steps. Like already with East Africa, we already have some things we're integrating, and there are some things we can do, the passport and stuff like that. I think steps like that, then we expand it more and more and more.
Do you think art can help push this agenda?
Definitely. Art is already pushing that agenda. Art is already pushing that agenda because number one, music and art, those are universal languages that appeal to human emotion and to the human psyche and to the human soul, such that when you listen to Angelique Kidjo and you don't understand what she's saying, but you feel what she's saying, you know, it's basically when you bring different voices together into one room, you see, different languages from different parts of the world. Music is a very strong emotion. Music has stopped wars, you know.
Yeah, for real.
Music has stopped wars. Music has started revolutions. So basically, and through music, it's about creating. What you create, we are co-creators. And as an artist, you are a co-creator. You can create a reality. And that's why whatever you sing or whatever you rap about, most of the time it becomes your own reality. Because even the people who listen to your music repeat those words like a prayer.
True.
Like a spell. You see, I am broke. I am suffering. I am struggling. Why?
Like
I am suffering. Those are affirmations you're making.
All right.
So if you think about that, you think about that and apply it to this borderless Pan-African situation, and you hear more voices singing towards that and painting art towards that and writing books towards that.
That's stories.
How we are telling stories. Actually, telling stories. Let's just call it telling stories. Being voices.
Exactly. Let me ask you something, Sharon. As we wrap up.
Yeah.
What's the most difficult thing about writing your songs?
Okay, personally, I'm a perfectionist. So I'm always in my head. I'm inside my own head.
I'm in my head.
Yeah, like before I let it go and say that I've let it go, I've let the song go, nimejisumbua sana. And then also sometimes, even not just with the songs, even with writing, I have 3 books now. Even with writing books, sometimes you get imposter syndrome. Kidogo too. Like you know you are good, but hiyo kadoubt kadogo. Nika venye ukienda stage unapatanga butterflies, ama una feel gidigada.
Who get happy validation? Is it from family or maybe a partner in your life, maybe your boyfriend?
Ama kuna kitu utumia.
No, sana validation huanza ndani yangu. I realized for a very long time that looking for validation outside, you'll always be disappointed. You might not get it. You might get too much of it that those people will fail to tell you when you're going wrong, or you might get too little of it because those same people you're looking for validation from want what you have.
Nice.
So you start by validating yourself.
Positive vibrations on the morning vibes.